Even when I try to move on, just when I think I'm done, he always comes crawling back. While I originally thought I had tackled just about everything Matty Bo Fatty has done, since then there had been multiple people who had reached out to share their experiences with a fellow G-modder called Matturi, someone who had been ruined by his extreme insecurity from numerous stressful moments. And it resulted in him bringing this cloud of judgment wherever he was, from getting into petty arguments to scapegoating, to manipulating his friends to do his bidding, to straight up spying, constantly unfriending and pushing people away from him in times of emotional breakdowns, only to add them back again. And if that wasn't enough, he would also resort to policing his own friends on who should be friends with who, as well as controlling them on what they should like based on his own feelings towards that person or subject. Apart from the things that I have mentioned, he also used to be my best friend. Yeah, like shocker of the fucking century. As I had previously talked to the guy, joined his servers, traded gifts with him, and we both shared a hobby in making Gmod screenshots. And it sucks that I have to make another video on this guy, who I basically moved on from. Because not only is there more evidence coming up to further prove how he's been treating people around him like ass, to the point where I'm actually surprised that he hasn't been outed as a narcissist yet, but how this guy can't seem to figure out when to stop fucking talking to people. Time and time again, he always keeps on coming back like the shit Terminator. And as I mentioned before, this video is mainly for shits and giggles, so please don't go after this guy. And that's because I really don't want to make a third video on this cunt. But also, if that happens, he's going to come back to me attempting to dump whatever justification he throws my way. Speaking of which, after I posted that first video, the dust settled. We had our laughs, and we moved on to doing better things. But with Matturi, he's a lost cause when it comes to falling out with his former friends, because instead of taking those critiques and fucking off, he tries to get back to me by starting off with a, yeah, but they were really fucking sketchy behind the scenes sort of argument. Yeah, no shit, retard, it's fucking Discord. Why are you surprised? It's literally in conjunction with Twitter. I get that the admin of that server is fucking weird and a bit of a creep, but you don't allow any room for any of your friends to actually think about the whole thing or to even question some bits, like your word is somehow set in stone and nothing else could be done. I'll focus on this in more detail later on. Plus, a lot of us met that admin and knew of the server because of your past dramas and how you kept talking about it, warning others of it. So the only thing that you've created for everyone was a headache. Furthermore, I actually spoke to this person about this claim, and they said that they were upgraded to a staff role on that server after the drama went down. Even then, they still left that server for not really doing much, as well as being ridiculed for even partaking in conversation. And then all of a sudden, we get this little gem of a rebuttal. Okay, first off, no shit, nobody's perfect. Have you even seen the state of my videos? Secondly, you not being perfect has got nothing to do with this. To say that implies that you, Matturi, had taken the time and made the effort to improve yourself, your well-being, and that you will be making more rational decisions from here on out. And all that hasn't worked out, but hey, at least you tried your best. There's none of that here. There's no trying, there's no effort, as proven by these messages you sent to me recently. You're still adamant on talking with me even when there's no reason to do so at this point. As if you can't let this connection between us go. This is the same thing I had mentioned before. How you keep going back to people that after you leave them for what is essentially your own problem, that only you have, when all of that could have been avoided if you just didn't let your thoughts get the better of you. I do respect you for trying to explain yourself and get your side of the story out there, but for fuck's sake! Look, what I'm trying to get across is that this reasoning is bullshit. Because it doesn't take an imperfect person to know that if you are in a Discord server that you don't like, you should just leave the server. It's not rocket science. Another thing that you'll see here and there is his efforts at guilt tripping, in which he says that he has made stuff for me and my friends in the past, and how he treated all of us with kindness. You just gotta appreciate the fact that Matturi is actually thinking that announcing to his critics that I'm a nice and charitable man is actually going to fix things. Listen, you don't need to remind everyone that you are a good person, especially me. A good person doesn't need to do that. You know why? A good person doesn't say that, a good person proves that. Because I already know that you're a good person. I have seen you do good things before, hanging out with friends, helping those in need, but it's the idea that you saying this is somehow a justification. The people who use the argument, don't forget that I have treated you well, they don't really come off as genuine when they're trying to make their point. In my eyes, you're giving me the notion that by announcing this, you are trying so hard to remind everyone of all the good things that you have done so many times that it sounds like our former friendship wasn't even that authentic. Almost as if you are sounding desperate to find a justification for what you have done. But also, friends treating other friends with respect and goodwill is just basic human behavior. Doing this is a selfless act, so to use it as a basis for your reasoning basically destroys its entire purpose. Furthermore, in this paragraph of fuckery, he goes into more detail about that Discord server where he had that mental breakdown, shivering and drowning in a pool of his own sweat. He mentions the owner of that server having some kind of dark secret, and that he and his cronies have access to lolly porn. To be honest, this is one of the more foggy bits of drama for me to recall, so do forgive me if I get something wrong. As I mentioned in my first video, I spoke to the admin of the server, and he claimed that such material was not allowed. Hell, you could even get banned for it. If this were the case, and you did mention this to every one of your friends, why didn't you collect proof to further justify your claim? Hell, if it did fuck you up that much, why didn't you calmly address it with the admin? Why didn't you make a video about this? The main issue here is not him actually feeling suspicious about a sketchy Discord admin, or even him calling them out. The main issue here is what he did instead. It's the actions that he took is what made this a humongous fuck up. He could have done his research. He could have made it clear to avoid that server because of it being filled with questionable content. Instead, what he usually does is act on emotion and impulse, getting aggressive with a moderator, as per usual, throwing his friends away, even though, as I said before, they did nothing. Actions do speak louder than words here. Why Matturi had this tendency of dragging people into his own drama surpasses any kind of logic or parody. He was aggressive, miserable, ill-prepared, and it just ended with Matturi being laughed at for acting like a stuck-up retard. I mean, that server was pretty shit anyways. Let's pick up the pace a little bit. Like, I get it. You saw something you don't like. But newsflash, fucko, that doesn't really excuse you from what you have done. He goes on about why these friends are with these friends, adhering to his unhealthy obsession with selecting friends for other friends, as if he has control over that shit, finally ending with this lovely message for me. Matt, the reason you're getting back to me is because you saw the video, you realize you fucked up, and you're trying to give your side of the story, while at the same time you're trying to get me to talk to you long after the drama's been blown over, trying to reignite the good times when at this point me and everybody else had enough of your shit. We're not interested anymore. There is no amount of nostalgia dumping that you could throw at anyone's way, with all of them knowing that you are a pathetic shit that wants his old friends back. And you having to call yourself a good person again doesn't make it any better for the reasons that I had mentioned previously. But I guess old habits die hard. Apart from his pitiful efforts at actual reasoning, what is the new evidence that other people had brought out? Well, it's nothing really too out there, but it's interesting nonetheless. At some point, Matturi was utilizing a cheating software during his rounds in Team Fortress 2.
Who taunted in the water? It was us! What?
Nullcore is what he was using, and it's promoted to be one of the leading training software provider for source engine based games. Yeah, sure. All these fucking stats to basically say these are training wheels for your future gaming abilities. And it's not free either. The dude actually paid money to have this cheat, to probably make his KD ratio a little more impressive, probably to add another game to his catalog of bragging rights. It does make you wonder who the fuck he's going to show off all this gaming talent to when all you need to do is spend $60 and your first-person shooter will transform into medical equipment. As proven by these screenshots, he was caught using wall hacks during a match of TF2, which as you can guess is something you can't do on a normal server. Hell, I've never even heard of a community server that allows wall hacks. And if you're saying he's going to get banned if he keeps this up, he's not. This software can't be detected by Valve's anti-cheat software, so he's not going to get caught. Not that he'll be using it much, because he has this tendency to change interest again and again and again. Do any of you remember that part in the first video where Matturi took an interest in furries? Well, for a brief moment in his life, he was actually considering on taking that idea seriously, even bearing a furry profile picture to announce to the world what his interests are going to be for the next few days. At least until he changes it again, and again, and again, to the point where he realizes, oh shit, I forgot to shower. As you can guess, this wasn't his most popular move, with it leading to some pretty funny back and forth insults, and him using the word cringe, as if that word holds any weight, while having a furry character as your profile picture, and having a mental state that is about as stable as wet paper. Ironically calling out this person for judging him for liking something, when he's been guilty of using that same mentality on his own friends before. I mean, does he know the reputation that furries have? He honestly should have expected this, and yet he's already getting into an argument. But according to Matturi, this shit is just second nature. It's like going to a clan rally dressed as RuPaul and you expect everyone there to be nice to you. And do you know what else is second nature according to this guy? Apart from acting like an insecure dipshit? Yeah, harassment. Bossing people around to the point of threatening others, having temper tantrums, and often spreading false or incomplete information with no evidence to back it up. Further proven by a case where a friend of a friend removed them because they didn't adhere to their request. Even calling somebody a racist with no substantial proof, scaring others into believing him. And while with this one there is some kind of justification, such as calling people out for being ungrateful when receiving free models for them to use, it's like before. There's a reason for doing so, but the actions he took were so fucking retarded that it made him look like the villain. The jury is still out if he is still a villain or not, rather more of a nuisance if anything, but I can say that a majority of people just want to leave this sucker in the back of their minds to slowly rot till he's forgotten. Honestly, at this point I feel the same way. I'm fucking over this shit already, and initially there wasn't meant to be a second video on this, as I felt it would be like kicking a dead horse. But then there were people who came out with their perspectives and helped gather evidence to further prove the point I made in my first video. So I want to thank those who had reached out and helped me with this. Knowing that Matturi will see this, I got a few last words for him. Matturi, please, from the bottom of my goddamn heart, leave me alone. Stop trying to message me, I'm through. Stop trying to pull your friends into your own drama and then going against them because they don't agree with you or that they don't want to be involved in drama. And why is it when this sort of thing happens, you lash out on the people that are fucking supporting you, the ones that are fucking helping you, comforting you, when those people, myself included, would defend your ass to the hill and back? These people, your friends, are not there to be bossed around. They are there to help you, because that's what friends do. I used to be really happy whenever I had the chance to talk to you, and I do remember all the fun shit we used to do, but I don't have that chance to remember all the good things because you're trying to remind me that you fucking exist over and over whenever you send a message. It just makes me wonder what was even the point of it all, if I'm just going to be reminded that you are also an insufferable little shit trying to talk to me. I don't know what you're doing right now, but I'm just hoping you are treating people a lot better now. If you haven't changed that much and you start another woe is me fest, then good luck finding someone that actually gives a shit. And if you see me using your models, then consider it to be the greatest compliment from me to you. Hope you have a good rest of your life. Go away. Fuck off. Don't talk to me ever again. Because the best thing you can say right now is less.